about.
It cool?
Ain't it
cool to be in New York
It sure is.
at Comic-Con?
Yes. It's so beautiful here, too. Like, the weather's in between. It's sunny, but it's cool. I feel great. Do you feel great?
I love the fall. Fall in New York is the best. It's like brisk out. It's not cold yet. It's perfect. I love it.
Now, let's talk about Through.
Yes. Speaking of cold, because that's set in Chicago in the winter where it's so cold that it like hurts your bones. I wanted you when you're reading it to feel the pain of the ice of Chicago winter. So anyone who's ever experienced that knows how much it hurts.
So the Windy City will just cut right through you?
Cuts right through you. And the book, I wanted you to like start reading it and be like, oh God, and Kat Staggs did such a cool job. And she like played outside of the panels. We added frost and ice in between like threading of pages and images. I'm so happy with the way the book turned out.
That sounds gorgeous.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Now the name, Through.
Yes.
It's a journey. It's pushing through something. You said this book is very personal to you and your struggles, your fight for mental wellness.
Yes.
Today is World Mental Health Day.
It is.
Today's
So I
think this is a great time to talk about Through. What is the unifying message?
You're not alone. Asking for help and accepting help is so hard. And that challenge comes in so many different shapes and sizes. And there's something for me in my journey that is a constant theme where I keep finding people and ways in which I am able to reach out for and accept help and help myself. But I need others to help me help myself. Right. It's a paradox. The seed for this idea grew out of conversations I was having with a friend of mine as we actually, 20 years ago in Chicago, dear friend of mine, Jimmy, who is a theater director and close friend, we were dreaming up this idea that eventually became what Through is now. But it was inspired by Chicago and the Windy City and Henry Darger and outsider art, and then my love and passion for the worlds created by people like Lewis Carroll and Frank Baum and Guillermo del Toro. And then the shape of it, all the set dressing, the monsters, the world, all was there for me, but what was missing was this like engine underneath of what's it actually all about, this character. Yes, she's a perfectionist. Yes, she's type A, and then goes through this, harrowing experience and ends up realizing that she's going to need others to survive. But I was like, there's something more to it. And about a year and a half ago, I went through just one of the most difficult struggles I faced yet in regards to my mental health. And I mean, no secret, struggled with addiction, depression, anxiety, many manifestations of borderline personality, manic behavior, and one way it manifested for me was this compulsive control disorder that just wanted to try and control everything around me, because if I could keep everything in order, if I could keep everything exactly the way that I needed it to be, everyone around me that I loved, all the people and the things around me controlled, then I'd be safe and then everything would be okay. And it's an awful, horrible way to live. Yeah. And everything fell apart for me. I mean, my whole interior just kind of unraveled. And just like Alex, as I was getting into finally being approved to start scripting the story is when I was going through this. And I started really doing a lot of work in therapy and working with professionals on the different parts of myself and the way in which those parts have been activated, and learning how to help calm myself through therapy, through meditation, through, group medication, you name it. There's so many tools that I've been afforded. And it just, my personal life and the writing of this book couldn't have landed at the more perfect time for me to bring to the page something that says what I feel is true about the worlds that live within us and how isolating it can feel. And if we're able to go in there and not go in there alone, like go in there with others, which is hard to explain how to do, but you can do it by talking, then your journey doesn't have to end tragically,
Right.
which mine nearly has, number of times.
Well, by creating this book, you are laying your world out
Yes.
for others
Yes.
to enter.
Yes.
And you're doing your part in helping. As you said, there are those who can help if you reach out. And in this way, you're doing what you can.
I'm trying, and I'm really thrilled at this gift that I've been given, which is an opportunity to tell stories, film, television, theater, and in books and comics and graphic novels. And I want to invite people to go on these journeys with me, and I want to entertain them. I want you to sit with this book, and I want you to be like, wow, that's a really cool twist, or like, oh my God, I didn't see that coming, or oh my God, this world is so beautiful and fascinating. Because Alex does go literally through the eye of a needle, like Alice goes through the looking glass into this realm that is seemingly limitless and that is fantastical with creatures and palaces and all kinds of stuff. But like with all of us, there's an infinity within.
Mm-hmm.
She's going to start to slowly realize, is she actually in another realm? Is she inside of herself? Where the fuck is she? And I want to bring people on these journeys and entertain them. And then when the story is over, when the ride is ended, when you're safely back at the end of where you began, and you take off your seatbelt, you put the book down, you turn off the movie, did I help you feel a little less alone? I hope so.
Nice.
That's my dream.
When you talk about the way you're sharing yourself with all these in different avenues, film, television, that begs the question, what came first? David the performer or David the writer? Or do the two inform one another?
David the writer, probably. I remember in first and second grade, I got recognized by some teachers as oh, maybe he'll do some extra writing stuff because he seems to really have a knack for it. And I loved Indiana Jones, and I loved comic books, and I loved fantasy and science fiction. So I'd write these really elaborate, and I loved ghost stories. I would write really elaborate haunted house stories and pirate stories and create creatures and characters and mise-en-scene for days. And I remember the first couple of mentors I was paired with being like, these are really funny ideas, these are cool ideas, these are neat mechanics, but what's it about? And it used to really baffle me. I'd be like, well, it's about a pirate that knows where this treasure is, so he has to go through all these skeletons to get, and they're like, yeah. But that's just set dressing. What is this actually about? And it took me a while to understand that oh yeah, there's a question to be asked here. I don't care if I'm making a ghost story, a slasher film, a paranormal investigation story, a superhero story, a monster hunting story, a science fiction epic. If I don't imbue the big questions that I'm wrestling with as David into the story and the characters, no one really gives a shit.
Yeah.
They just end up being boring stories. So I started pretty young, but I didn't actually get that until I was in my 20s.
And what do you think opened that up? Was it more
exposure to great storytellers, reading the writing of everyone from Gaiman to Loeb to Snyder to you name it, and great filmmakers and great novelists, and understanding with even fantasy and science fiction like Frank Herbert's Dune. I remember reading that book and going, there's so many ideas at play here and how complicated one person can feel about something,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's very transformative. I agree. Now, you've written for the screen. Animals was a very personal story.
Yep.
And you produce Late Night with the Devil.
Yep.
So you've been all around the back of the camera. When are you going to direct?
So I have my company, Good Fiend Films. Our first feature co-production entity was Late Night with the Devil. We produced the Halfway to Halloween special with the Boulet Brothers for Shudder. Currently have Knights vs. Samurai, the publishing in the world, and then working on developing that. Working on stuff with Count Crowley, doing Through. I've got an unscripted show coming from that space. I have 2 features, and now, as we speak, I am locking in on the Boulet Brothers Holiday of Horror special. So I'm doing a horror special for Shudder with the Boulet Brothers, and within it, there are several short stories, and I made my directorial debut directing a piece that was written by my longtime collaborator, Leah Kilpatrick, and our friend Jenny, and that I helped to contribute to, and I directed it, and we all act in it, and it's I'm very excited for people to see it. It'll be coming out in December.
Oh, this holiday season.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah, the Boulet Brothers Holiday of Horror. So their Titan season just premiered on Shudder. Once that ends, a few weeks later will be our Holiday of Horror special, and I'm very excited, but also ready for people to be pissed off, because being subversive and horror themed with Christmas time is tricky, but I think every time is a good time to be spooky.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Dude, that was awesome. Thanks, man. I really appreciate it.